Hey, what's going on, guys? Whew. Boy, back pain's no fun. Whew. It's been 9 days since I hurt my back. And I have come down here and walked down here to the shop. And I'm just walking around and looking around at stuff. Falling behind on things. I actually walked down here the other day and I attempted to do, well, I didn't really do nothing. I took one of the quarter panels out of the box and kind of set it up against the 69, but realized real quick that wasn't a very good idea. So I went back in the house and I rested some. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to give it a few more days until there's absolutely no more back pain, because I do not want to make it worse, because right now it's getting better. It's a lot better, to the point to where I'm comfortable. I can still feel it's there, and it's kind of like it wraps around my torso a lot. But I don't want to jinx it. You know, it's getting better. I want to let it heal up and get completely better. So what I'm going to do is, this week's video is going to be different. Instead of coming down here and working like a dog and trying to get y'all some content out, I'm going to take stuff I already have on file, stuff I've already saved, and I'm going to put each clip together until I get y'all a video out for this week. So what I'm going to do is the 65 Mustang, if y'all remember, I had put it out here in front of the shop, and I was going to actually convert it into a fastback for y'all and show you all the steps to do a 65, because the 65 is a little bit different than a 67, and I'm going to show you why. So this is a 64 through 66 roof. I don't know what it came off of, and it is butchered. Somebody actually took a roof skin off of a coupe, and they actually tried to make it work on a fastback top, and it's flattened out, it's stretched, it's garbage. All this is just junk. But as you can see, on a 65 or 66 fastback, it has this pocket for your fresh air vent, for your louvers. On a 67 and 8, it has this pocket right here, already stamped into, well, it's already part of the quarter panel when you buy it, like from Dynacorn or wherever you get your quarter panel from. This is already here. When you buy a 65 or 66 fastback quarter, all you're going to have is this lower portion here, this little lip, and the top smaller portion. It just has a little bitty portion, as you can see right here, this little portion. So you actually have to, if you plan on building you a fastback and actually running the levers like a 65 fastback would have, you're going to have some fabricating skills, because you're going to have to build this box. You're going to have to build something to attach to your quarters to bolt your levers to, your fresh air vents on the inside, and your levers too. So that's what we're going to be getting into in this video. I made a few videos and some clips on how to do that, so we're going to put this in the video, and I know you guys can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So let's get to it. Nothing really has changed down here at the shop. It's still just as messy as it was when I left. Actually, nothing's really changed since I left to go to help the Inevitable Gym in Iowa. It's still pretty much all the same down here. Nothing's changed. The old car's still sitting here just exactly the same. I mean, yeah, I'd done some welding. I actually did do some welding right before I hurt my back. I fixed where that was rotten, welded it up, started welding the inner wheel housing to the trunk floor, and I actually fitted these panels, these black panels on the inside, and I started fitting the end caps and trying to make them fit halfway decent. They never fit good. Those pop metal things never fit 100% perfect. You just got to make the best with what you got. This one's down because the box is sitting on it, but yeah, that's as far as we got. We will get back to this car, but this week's video is going to be, everybody's asked for it. This week's video is going to be 65, 66 fastback conversion. So I hope that's what y'all want to see, because that's what we're fixing to do. All right, Ellie, let's go pick out our next victim. Look out, Ellie. get it to the shop before it gets dark. Get her drug out a little bit and then try to pick it up. We're gonna go for that one. Whoop, missed it completely. See if it'll move. Probably not. Oh, maybe. Maybe. Watch out, Ellie. Oh. I think I got it out enough that I can pick it up now anyway. See if we can get her in the shop. Look out, Ellie. She don't pay attention. You gotta start paying attention, Ellie. I don't want to hit you, honey. This old car right here is rougher than a night in jail, fellers. That's why it's the perfect candidate. Weird. I don't know why, but for some reason the camera was on some weird mode. I don't know. That was weird, fellers. I never seen it do that before. Okay, Ellie. Let me try to turn these lights back on and see if it changes again. Did it change? No. Alright, so while I got it up in the air on the forks, come here, Ellie. Leave them alone, honey. Come on. You scare people, honey. You're big and intimidating. I know, you just want to play, but you're big. I'm pretty sure it's just something we ordered, honey. Yeah, they're leaving. Come here, come here. Alright, so while we got it up in the air, we're going to put some different wheels and tires on it. Come here, come here, come here. Come here, Ed. Alright, see, they're leaving. They're leaving. They're not danger. They're not danger. Alright, let's stick some wheels on this thing. Well, alright guys, so I got this thing in here. I put 4 matching wheels and tires on it. They're aired up about the same. I'll see that. It's in bad shape, fellers. Well, we ain't gonna worry about that. We're gonna pretend like no, this is like this. It's good. We're gonna move on to better things. So it's getting dark, it's late. I'm going to the house and we'll get back after this tomorrow morning. And we'll get this top cut off this thing and I'll show you how to fastback this car. Alright, fellers. This is the next day. It's colder than a witch's titty. It is freezing. Where did the warmth go? Like it's crazy here in Tennessee. It'll be 75 and sunny, and then the next day, you think it's gonna snow. Come on, Ellie, we just got down here. You already starting in on me. You already starting in on me. Well, anyway, fellas. So here's the plan with this car. This car's got decent quarter panels on it. Late last night I came in here and I just rattle canned some black paint on it just so that you could see that it's not rusty. There's no rust holes in this quarter panel. It has some surface rust on it, but the quarters on this car are surprisingly solid. Before I get too carried away, let's plug our mics up because you might can't hear me. I don't know. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I don't know. The mics down here is weird. I don't know if it's got something to do with this building or what. Might be the way I'm recording it. I don't know. But anyway, back to what we were saying. So the quarters on this car is really good. So I came in here and I just rattle canned some black paint on them. Come on, Ellie, give me a break, honey. So I just rattle canned them last night because the parts that we're going to be putting on, it's black. As you can see, they're dirty. They've been sitting around for a while. But you can actually buy just the tops of a 64 through 66 fastback. You used to get these through like Eckler's, but you can get them through CJ Pony Parts or probably Kentucky Mustang or Classic Industries. They used to be about 50 bucks a piece. Now I think they're around 80 or 90 bucks a piece. But the idea is to just put the top on our good quarter. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm hoping that I can show y'all how to do this both ways. I'm going to show you how to do it, which is what I call the poor man's fastback, which utilizes the coupe back seat. And then I think I'm going to show you taking this package tray, the trunk divider, taking this plumb out, and then making it so that you can still put the fastback interior panels in it and the fastback seat in it if you want, but still doing it the poor man's version, just not using the coupe back seat. Poor man's version is you don't use the fastback sides that you can buy nowadays. You know, you can get on CJ Pony Parts or Classic Industries or Kentucky Mustang. They'll sell you the entire side, welded or unwelded, and you can turn a coupe to fastback, but you still have coupe VIN numbers. So in my mind, and I've done it both ways. I've done it the real version, you know, I've bought it, but I buy the unwelded version. So I buy all the pieces, and then I only ever use the top rail and then just a fastback structure. And then everything else is just useless unless you just get in a rusty car and you absolutely have to have a rocker panel or a A pillar or, you know, or a B pillar. But so we're going to do it this way. It's a lot cheaper. It's fairly easy. If you've got any kind of metalworking skills at all, you can do this. So first things first, I got to get this the stainless steel weather stripping channel out. So I'm going to get that off. And then we're just going to start cutting it like we normally do, guys. We're going to take a Sawzall. We're going to cut it right straight across here. I'll take my air chisel and I'll zip the roof skin off. We'll get the biggest majority of the roof out of the way. And then we'll start getting this car ready for the fastback pieces. All right, guys. So just like we did on all the other conversions, on 64 through 66 is pretty much the same. Start right here. And we're actually going to cut this off too later, but we're just going to start right here and get the mainest part of the roof just off and out of the way. So we're going to make our first cut here. We'll make our second cut here. And then we'll go around with our chisel like we always do. You want to get you a Sawzall and a blade that's long enough to go through the inner and outer panels. You don't want to be cutting the outside and then beating yourself to death on the inside with the end of your blade. You don't want that. It'll be a little bit loud, Ellie. Alright, so the next cut, this will be the last cut we actually have to do with the Sawzall, I think. Well, we might do another cut. Right here where this starts to roll, from here to here, go in the center, make you a cut. Straight up. Not straight up, but kind of, you know, angled. Like this. I mean, you could go straight up, but I don't do that. I like to give myself enough material to tack onto when I start making my new inner structure. I'm here to help, fellers and fellettes. all the time and they're like, why didn't you brace up the car? You've cut that car apart. It's a unibody car. You didn't put no brace in it. Now it's going to sag. You are 100% right. This car's been wrecked really hard in the front. If I go in here and I weld bracing in this car, and then I fastback this car, that means I fastback this car in a twist. This car's been wrecked. So the reason why I do not put braces in these cars is because 99% of the time, when I build one of these cars back, it's been wrecked at some point or another, and the car is tweaked. So I leave it unbraced so that I can go in there with a jack. Usually I have to jack up the ass end to bring the whole back of the car up like this to close up the door gaps, to make sure that the back of the roof to the deck filler panel, make sure the back glass opening is the correct size, because if the ass end's hanging down, you're going to have a big old window opening. So you have to jack it up to close up the window opening. So that's why I don't put bracing in my cars that I build. I mean, if you got enough common sense, you know that if you got a great old big gap right here, you got to jack the back of the car up, then weld it. If, let's say, your doors are sticking up real high like this, that means the front of your car is down. That means you need to put a jack in the front of the car, jack it up, and then your doors will lay back down. And it's not rocket science. But anyway, let's get the air chisel out and nibble off the roof skin. Come on, Ellie, give me a break, honey. Boo! I guess we need an airline, don't we? Let me show y'all what I'm doing. So I'm just going around this skin with an air chisel, because all I want to do, I'm going to go across the front too. I'm going to go around the whole entire outer border down to where I made my cuts. And then we're just going to set this top off. Y'all ever seen those cars that they built back in the 70s and 80s? They were station wagons. People would take Mustangs and they would graft another roof on it and then make their own little back hatch. They're cool. They're cool little cars. I've always thought about making one, but God, are they ugly. They are pretty cool though. Right here makes a real good metal to use on the car elsewhere, so we save it. Alright guys, so right here's where you really you want to look or measure twice, cut once. So as you see, these panels that you get, they got this little recess in them. That recess is designed to go in under this quarter panel, and then you pull this up, and then when the quarter is in this little recess, the two panels will be flush with each other. So what we got to do is we got to meet this up, this curve on the back side, lay it in this curve here, and then that's going to show you just exactly where you need to cut this quarter. You need to measure over and cut it. Do not cut your front edge. Where your door meets this edge is right, it's correct. This edge is not right. So come back about, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch and cut it, and then cut straight back. And you'll be able to put this in under the quarter. We got to get all this out of the way before this will lay in here correctly. Cut that front side and back there to back and just get the biggest portion of that out of the way so that I can get my little buzzsaw in there and do a little more fine tuning. I call it a buzz saw. I don't know why I call it a buzz saw. Maybe because it buzzes so much. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. So we got the front part cut loose. There's a bracket in here. So now all we gotta do is knock the bracket loose in there. If y'all can see that, but it's spot welded right there. So we're gonna take the air chisel and we're just gonna hammer it out. Gonna get in between the two panels and just do it manually like this. All right, there it is. So now we can take this thing off. So now you see that bracket I was talking about. So you got to cut through that bracket, and you have to knock these. So you have to cut through this bracket, and you have to knock these spot welds right here loose. So that top is off. We don't need that no more. We might could lay our piece in here now. Chances are I'm gonna have to cut this down. Usually I take these plumb off on my fastback conversions, but we're probably gonna leave it on this one for a little while. I haven't got enough cut out back here at the back yet to put it on. We can just kind of set it up and get an idea. So it actually go in under it like this, and then it'll lean over, then it'll stitch weld. Just got to do a little more cutting. We're almost there. So I know what I got to do. It's hard to explain it to y'all and then do it. I guess if I need a cameraman is what I need. That's what I need. I'll just grab the camera. It's hard to hold this up here from falling and I'm trying to show y'all at the same time. Maybe I'll lay this hammer on it and hold it. Nope. Not heavy enough, Clyde. Not heavy enough. Dadgummit. I need Wesley out here to help me. Get some vice grips. I apologize for sniffling, man. I don't do cold weather very good. Let's see if there's somewhere we can clamp this. I think I can. Maybe I can clamp it right here. Yeah. Gently. Ever so gently. There we go. So now I can bring y'all back here with a camera, maybe, and show y'all what we gotta do. So the next step's gonna be, I need to find something to scribe it with. I had a Sawzall blade earlier I was doing it with. I don't know what I've done with that. Done lost it. Universe eat it. Well, anyway, so we got this lined up in the front. We're going to bring it over here with the edge. And then what you're going to do is you're going to scribe it. You're going to lay your something against the side edge of this and then just scribe the metal. That's going to give you something to measure off of because we don't want to cut it right there. We're going to see how far away this is. See, from here to here, it looks like about 3/4 of an inch. So what we do is we'll measure from that line forward about 3/4 of an inch, maybe a little less, and that's where we're going to put our cut. Well, not till I nibble that out. Nibble some of that joint out of there. What it is, it's the joint where the filler panel and the quarter goes together, where it's pinch welded. We got to cut that joint out. Get up under it. What is it, Ellie? I know what it is. You want to play. these wires out of the way. We don't want to cut them. Alright, so we got that out of the way. Now we should be able to lay this up here and you get an idea. Hopefully. Scooter forward. Just want to have some self-tapping screws in it for sure. For sure. Let me get a clamp on it. Our goal is to try to make this little curve. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about here. So, this little curve right here, this matches up with our factory doors good. If we had used like a aftermarket quarter or just tried to stick this on here without saving this, it would no longer match up with our doors. Trust me, ask me how I know. I've dealt with that stuff for years. So that's why I try to save this front edge when doing it like this. It's a lot easier to get the doors to line back up with the tops of the quarters. So that's pretty good. You see how this is hanging over? This don't matter. This will get cut off. This edge will get cut off because that was the old coupe edge. All we're worried about is this. That's all that matters. Bring this over. It's looking pretty good, actually. Pretty good. Looks like I need to do a little fine tuning. Like I didn't cut enough off right here. It might could stand to come forward just a little bit though. Yeah. Could go forward probably 1/8 of an inch. And that would probably get me. I want to do a little more trimming here and there. And then I'll stick some self-tapping screws in it. And we will go from there. Alright guys, so I was trying to make some cuts with my Sawzall. I don't know if my batteries are just going bad or what, but the Sawzall keeps cutting out. What I was trying to do was just come in here and just cut it right along in this channel and just get all this out of the way. You have to save, because we're going to have to reuse this portion of this trunk gutter. We're actually going to be taking this and actually moving it back here. So don't tear this section up. At least come about 1 inch in front of this seam and cut it, because we're going to need that part here in a little bit. But I just want to get the biggest majority of this right here, just this part, get it off here and get it out of the way. So I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use a plasma cutter. Y'all can use a Sawzall. Hopefully y'all's works better than mine. But I'm getting ready to get this thing off of here. So this panel right here is going to lay essentially right in here somewhere. It's supposed to be about 14 inches from the edge of this quarter up here to this, I think. I'm not sure. Just right off memory. I got a deck lid here somewhere. We're going to have to start mocking up stuff just to know where to cut it. I do know that we're going to have to add a little piece of the quarter panel right in here, because where the coupe trunk lid just went straight, the way this mounts is kind of diagonal, cockeyed like this. So you do have to do a little add in the middle right here. That's no big deal. I guess I could probably go get a deck lid and just lay it up here and just get an idea. I don't have the end caps though. I need to go find some end caps. The good thing about 65 and 6, the coupe and the fastback uses the same end cap. 67 and 8 don't. They went backwards with that crap. I don't know why they done that. So you'll kind of see what we're going for. See, it's starting to look like something. All I did was just lay them up there and it's already looking like a fastback. That will kind of give us an idea of where we need to trim stuff. Okay, so that tape I just put on there represents the edge of this panel. So once I pull this panel off, I know that I need to go over about a ½ inch, and that needs to be my line I need to cut on this. That way that this can lay up under this panel, and then we'll weld it. The two panels will be nice and smooth with each other. I did the same thing on the other side. So this is now our new trunk opening. And you see how this doesn't line up with this? That's why I was saying save your old corner right there. Because you could cut that corner off and graft it on right here. What I normally do is, I normally just cut me a slit in it right here. And then I'll lay this over to this. And then I'll just put a little piece of metal on the bottom side and weld it up and I'm done. I'm good. Works out good that way too. Another thing I probably need to point out while I'm here looking at it. You notice that the coupe has a real deep channel all the way up into here. The fastback, it starts out deep, then it gradually gets narrow. See how this is real narrow? It's just about the same height as my finger. This is probably about the same height as about 3 fingers. So what we got to do is we're going to have to, after I said make this cut, we actually got to slice it in here too. Raise the whole drip rail up and then stitch it back together. It's pretty easy. Sounds more complicated than it is. Alright, so I went and got some quarter extensions. These are coupe, but they also work on fastback. That's a good thing about 64 through 66. These interchange between the two. Well, between the three. We're going to stick these on real quick. And then we're going to put our deck lid on and just verify that everything's where it needs to be. So it looks like I need to scoot it that way just a little. Alright. Looks pretty good. We got about the same gap we got here, so that might be where it needs to be. So you see, I'm flush. I got her flushed up here, and we're flushed up here. We got a decent gap all the way up. You see how this is round? This is pointy. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is just rounding this over. I may have to go back and look at some pictures of one of my other fastbacks I've done. I can't remember if this is supposed to be rounded. I think it is, but I don't think it's supposed to be rounded that much. Pretty sure it ain't. But I'm definitely not going to mess with this, so I'll probably end up just rounding this over a little bit and welding it up. 27 1/4. $27 1/4. That's weird. So if you measure it from the end of the quarter to this point here, it's 27 1/4. Now if we could get it from here to here to be the same, we'd be in good shape. This is showing 14 1/4. Just put the tape measure in here like this to the edge here. 14 1/4. 14 1/4. Well, hey, what did I do? I don't know. It's good now. That's all that matters. So the blue tape represents the outside edge of that deck filler panel. My marker is representing where I'm actually going to cut. So I've come in 1/2 inch and I've drawn me a line. So that was our scribed mark where our panel was laying. I went in front of it 1/2 inch and I drawn me a line. So that's where I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut all that off. Same thing over here. That line represented where that deck filler panel was laying. Go in front of it 1/2 inch and then just draw our line. I'm going to cut that out real quick. Okay, so I've cut this out. So this is the original coupe edge right here. And if you continue straight ahead, you see that you run out of material. You got to keep going diagonal with your cut. But there's nothing there because your quarter ended right there. So what you can do is slice it and then just bend it up. Bend that used to go down into the trunk drip edge. Bend that up. Dolly it back out straight, and then you've got material again. You won't have to add a little piece in there. I'm doing this a little different than I used to do because I used to just cut that off and then I'd add a little triangle in here. The metal's already there. You just have to bend it up and flatten it back out. So that's the way I'm doing it. I started bending it up before I realized I probably need to show y'all what I'm doing. Okay, so I had bent that edge that used to roll down. I bent it up and I have hammered it. I used a dolly and I just hammered the top side and flattened it out. So now we have this continuing line all the way forward, all the way up here to where it stops, where we got to have it stop. This is actually used to be part of the deck filler panel. All I done was I went on the bottom side and I cut the joint off the bottom side to where it's just flat. And I cut a slit in it right there so that I could bend that up. I hammered it all flat now. It's flat on top and bottom. And when I get ready to start welding, I'll just weld all this back together and grind it down. Or weld all of it together and grind it down, not back together. So now, this is essentially the same thing as a fastback quarter. Like if you bought one of those two-piece quarters like from CJ Pony. We've now got basically the same exact shape as what one of them quarters is shaped like. Only thing difference is, we haven't done our drip rail area yet because we're going to have to slice that. And then we're going to basically, where we slice it, we're going to lay the drip rail in behind the other panel. And then we're going to bring it up, and then we're just going to weld the two back together. It's just that simple. Hopefully. Let me go get some vice grips. See how the two panels, the one panel had that little recess on it so that it would set up under this panel. Now you just weld the two together and they're nice and flat with each other. I might do a little more clearance in though, I think. Take that off. Now, I'm fitting on the exterior panels first, and then I'm going to go get my trunk support. It's got the trunk hinges, mounts for the trunk hinges, and supports all this, so this ain't flopping around in just midair. But I always fit the outside panels first, make sure that they all fit, and then I'll put that thing up in the bottom and get it fitting. So I've went around and I've stuck screws in it here and there. Just trying to pull it up flush. I put one here, kind of even, spaced them out. I didn't push hard on the quarter stone. I want the cord to stay exactly where it's supposed to be. I don't want to force it. You don't want to force anything. So I'll pull this up nice and tight all the way around to here. Pull this up nice and tight. Pull this up nice and tight. But you see, the way these panels overlap each other, the way this is recessed, this panel goes under this panel. This panel goes under this panel. But this panel goes on top of this panel. Right here, we're going to have to do a little trimming, because this panel is not laying in the recess on this black panel correctly. Therefore, it's up too high. It's laying on top of the surface that would be the car, the painted surface. So we've got to trim that, hammer that edge down into this recess so that all this flows together nicely. We want all this to flow straight, and we want all this to be flush. Because once we do our welding and our grinding, we don't want no highs. Well, this is where we're at right now at the moment. You see where I notched that? I guess I showed it earlier. So I actually went in under this skin and I put me a little notch so that this panel could slide into this panel. Alright guys, so I'm about to make these cuts. I usually put a cut here and a cut here. Always put the cut in the back first, and once I get them cut, I'm gonna give you the measurements. You do not cut all the way through to the bottom. You just cut it all the way down to this lower portion here. You don't want to cut it completely in half. Now what we're going to do is bend her down. Shoot, not that much. Pretty good. Hang the tape on the edge of this panel, this upper panel. It's got an edge right here. And on the edge, 8.5 inches. 21.5 inches. So first cut's 8.5, second cut 21.5. These are different than the 67 1/8, so don't go by my measurements on 67 1/8. Reason why it doesn't matter if you put like 4 or 5 cuts and just start gradually rolling this down is because this gets covered up with drip rails, gets covered up with the roof, and then it gets a channel put in here. You never see none of that. You don't have to, it doesn't matter. All you're doing is making more work for yourself. The more cuts you put in it, the flimsier it is, and then the more cuts you have to weld back up. So I'm going to get the rest of this drip rail off, and then we'll start fitting our drip rails. Line this up. This line right here, this edge, we're going to line this up with this one, this edge right here. That's what we shoot for. I want y'all to look how shitty these parts are. What it is, they shift these parts in the die. And when they do that, you got too much here. And then not enough up here. Look here. So the old one used to come all the way down to here. That's exactly how much we got hanging over here. So I can't put these drip rails where I normally put them. I can't line this up. See? This right here is pretty much where it's supposed to be. See that line right there? For whatever reason, they've chopped it off of this end and added it to that end. Oh, man. Well, I guess the only thing I can do is, I really don't know if what I can do, because it's fitting good right here. It's fitting like it's supposed to right here. So maybe I just, daggum, they screwed this up. I'm going to see if I can't just slide it forward and then gradually bend this back, you know, bring it back and rebend it. Shoot, I don't know. Somebody foobarred that one. Well, guys, I kind of got a late start on the little 65 fastback conversion this morning. I didn't get started on it until about 10 o'clock this morning. So I didn't get as much done today as I wanted to. My goal is to have this thing completely converted in 2 days. That's, you know, tearing it down, fastbacking it, doing all the welding, and then sending it out of here. But, I don't know. We'll see. So that's where I got to today. I got everything pretty much fitted as far as outside skins. I still have to fit the package or the divider that goes in under this tray that your trunk hinges actually bolt to. So I have to fit that. I have to go in here and make some inner structure to weld in here. And I have to make the pockets to weld on the back side of this so that you can bolt up the louvers. On the 65, 66, they don't make, when they ship you quarters or ship these out, they don't make the pockets. They don't come with the pockets on the back of them like a 67 or 8's got. So you have to actually physically go in here and make those little pockets to go on the back side. Tack weld them in or weld them in, and then, you know, drill you some holes in them, and then bolt your louvers up. But that's if you're doing the poor man's version, I call it, with a coupe back seat. I'm also going to show y'all how to take this out and then build this to where you can put the real fastback interior panels in it, real fastback seat, fold down seat, whatever you want to put in it. I'm going to do it both ways for you guys. So I got a lot of work cut out for me tomorrow, because I intend on doing all this tomorrow for you guys, because I want to get this video out to y'all and get this chapter out of here, because y'all been asking for a 65 or 66 for a long time. Well, here it is. Original quarters, the little cheap fastback tops, down the corn roof, down the corn deck filler panel. We got a CJ Classics deck lid that fits pretty good. The only thing I don't like about it is the corners. See, the dynacorn is, this piece is rounded, and this is square. So, I don't know. I will have to come in here and do a little welding on that little piece there. But all this has got to be welded, so it don't matter. But just standing back and looking at it, it looks pretty good. All this looks good. All this right here looks good. I mean, that's not adjusted because it ain't got no hinges on it yet, but I mean, it will go up. And it looks relatively nice. All that looks nice. It's looking pretty good so far, guys. I'm kind of tickled with it. I mean, just stand back and looking at it, she looks like a fastback. I mean, unless you just knew what you was looking at because of that package tray. You would think it's a fastback set in here. So tomorrow, I'm going to fit this bad boy in there. This is the fastback. They call it like a rear upper panel or a divider. I don't know. Different places call it different names. But that's what your trunk hinges bolt to on the other side. And it kind of supports the filler panel. So we're definitely putting that in. But I'll be back out here bright and early tomorrow morning. And we're going to get back after this thing. I got to try to round up some door hinges. Before I weld anything, I'm going to bolt the doors on this thing and make sure they line up across the rockers and against the quarters. I want to make sure I got good door gaps before anything gets welded. I don't know if I have any door hinges, but we're going to have to try to locate some. I've got a parts car around back. It might have hinges on it. I don't know. Too cold to walk around there and check tonight. I'll see y'all in the morning.